Let's get back to another round of Brewsday Tuesday with DreZ and Big Nate.
Uh, Here's gonna have a if you're doing all that, you don't pop that. That's the sound of mine. There you go. And now
You dropped the metal lid.
there it is. There it. So you can see there's only the only amount of bourbon that's been taken out of that is what I've fit into those small little vials. So you can see that's still pretty much full bottle right there of your EHL. So first things first, it's BoozeDay Tuesday. I over here on this side of the counter
Board.
like I said, man, maybe we played too long of a song and we drank a little too much bourbon, but I have the Elijah Craig barrel proof. All right. So this is coming in. They're not finding it out to make it an even 100 proof like both of the first bourbons and whiskeys we drank. This one's barrel proof, which means it is coming in at 130.6. It's a 65.3% alcohol. This is batch number B524, aged 11 years and 2 months down there at good old Elijah Craig. You got a good, I don't have the nutrition facts, unfortunately, so I can't read any of that stuff, but
it's the most important.
So out of all of the drops that I've managed to get to in time, the bottle you're holding is the one I am most proud of.
I think you should be. I don't know that we should be drinking this. It's the Colonel E.H. Taylor single barrel, bottled in bond, 50%, 100 proof, old fashioned copper distillery. Doing some work here, and I mean that's a presentation. I love the when it comes in the cardboard liquor tube, and then you've got to get it out. Oh,
the tubes are nice. It's a nice little touch, just to let you know you're getting something you're paying probably a lot more for that you maybe weren't even planning to do. So go ahead.
So you said you got this at a drop. Did you? I can't remember because I didn't do them as frequently. Was this one where you kind of felt like it was coming up, or was it just complete surprise, happenstance? You were in the middle of something else, and you're like, "Oh, I gotta go."
Well, I just found the photo because when I got it, I was so proud. I took a picture of it and sent it to Josh. That same thing. It was one of those ones where and I'm pretty sure I was probably sitting right here, and I got the text, and I was like, I got the time. I'm gonna run down there and see what they got, and I was able to get my hands on it and I sent it to Josh. Josh, aka, he's been on the show. Do we have
Beer Man Josh?
Beer Man Josh.
I call him Fezzik, like Andre the Giant and the Princess Bride.
So the reason I pulled up this thread, and it's funny, I saw that photo. That's not the photo I was looking for. It's because he did, and I guess it must not have been, I don't think it was a drop. I think it was a lottery. I can't remember which one, but he got the E.H. Taylor barrel proof, uncut, unfiltered. And I think actually it was his mom that got it, but he got it from his mom. And he messaged me that he got that. And then sure enough, I was traveling. I can't remember what state I was in, but I guess I could look at the message. But that bottle that he sent me that he was able to get on this drop, that's the thing that's all right. I'm dogging on the ABC. It's a little weird, whatever, but at least it's at cost. If you can get them, great. Because the bottle that he got, this E.H. Taylor, it was probably like $80 or $90. And I found it in whatever state this was. I can't remember what it was, but it was the same exact bottle. You probably can't see the price tag on the thing, but $499 is what they were asking for at this liquor store that I walked into. So maybe I'll even scroll back and see.
Hell of a bargain.
Yeah, well, it's just, there's the one. Here we go. Finally got it at the good drop in Radford. Yeah, finally. That's what it was. Yeah, I kept going to the Radford drop, and I would bust my ass to get over there, and it would be nothing special. So I'm going to see. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter. But I stayed up north. I can't remember. I think it was when we were doing that RV trip. Me and BB were up that way. So it might have been, I don't know, Maryland or further north. Who knows? All I know is I'm feeling pretty good. So here's the thing. So we were talking about drinking the whiskeys, a little water, a little ice, or that and the other. Where are you on cigars with your whiskey?
I do enjoy a good cigar with my whiskey. I'm a big fan of the It's a Boys. No, that's something I haven't.
You've had two of those
I've had,
in your
I've had
day.
two of those. No, that was something my dad and I used to do. On summers from college, we'd sit out on the back deck on the back porch and have a little bit of whiskey, a little cigar. Dad was always responsible for buying the cigars, so I never had 100% detail about what exactly we got. But it's always nice and peaceful.
Have
the
you
sun
ever
goes down?
So have you ever bought cigars?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I do the old trick where you look at the cost, you set a price range, and then you smell it, see if it smells good. Usually that works out pretty well for me. But not in regards to researching, too much before I go in or maintaining a humidor.
Yeah, a lot of the time. I mean, humidors, it's some upkeep. It's not a lot, but it can be a bit of a pain in the ass. But pardon me. Yeah, I was really into them for a good while, but it's gotten to the point where I don't know. I kind of fell off of them because I would get headaches, and I would get headaches the next day. And you would think it's probably maybe it's more for the bourbon, but I feel like I was blaming it on the cigars, man.
You're doing that thing like, oh, I can't drink tequila. It makes me a terrible person. It was never the tequila.
I don't know.
It's the quantity.
No, there's something about it, and I think what it is, and what I've decided is I just a bit. I like the torpedoes,
Yeah.
the small. You can get the little nub kind of cigars. That's what I'm gonna start doing. No more of the big boys. But I do like. I'll throw this out there, and I probably have before. If you've listened to any other bourbon ones, I'm a big fan of. Well, anything bourbon. Sometimes you can find some that are cured and whatever. But obviously those are my sweet spot. But Gurkhas, I'm a
Yep.
fan of Gurkhas. If you go to like a Total Wine, they always have like the humidor section with some cigars or whatever in there. Get like the variety pack of Gurkhas. If you're going out for like a bachelor party weekend or something, you can get a pack of those and throw them out. And those are always good, reasonably priced, nothing too crazy. If you're just looking for something that's going to be solid and enjoyable, I recommend the Gurkhas. And if you want to get fancy, then you can get the you know the ones that are dipped and cured and the liqueurs. They'll be pricier, but it's worth it. Those ones are really good.
I think last time I actually sat down and had a cigar was just before we had our third son. It was one that you were kind enough to give to me. It's the last time.
Was it a Gurkha? What was
Yeah,
it?
was a Gurkha.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I do.
So the problem is we should have been having that together. We should have been sitting down with a bottle
Yeah.
of this, man.
You aren't
Because
kidding.
yeah, it is nice. When you're doing it, it's really nice. Sometimes you got to pay for it a little bit, but it can be worth it.
That's what's the Mitch Hedberg joke was about him drinking. It was you drink a lot, don't you? Don't you get hungover? He's like, I like apples too, but eventually it's gonna be a core. Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. The hangover is just the core of the apple.
Yep. You enjoy it while it lasts, and then you got to deal with something. So I also, we obviously kept drinking while the song was playing, and we also did a little more research. So that Henry McKenna you were referring to, you're willing to
It must
admit
be
it's the black
It
label.
must be Black Label.
It must.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I was saying, it wasn't one I was passionate about, but it definitely hangs out on the bottom shelf. I think we confirmed that it's like
13, 14
yeah,
bucks. Yeah.
it's
So I'm
not great.
Yeah, I don't think, I think the only Henry McKenna I've had is that 10-year, and it ain't bad. I'm not dogging it.
No, it's good.
Not dogging it at all.
It wasn't the Dickel.
So I will say this. I like a good strong drink. I like a strong everything. the barrel proof Elijah Craig. I mean, this is coming in hot, 65.5% basically. This is one where I think a couple drops will make a big difference. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. I've had a few sips. I do like it. It's nice, but man, if you like a strong whiskey, what's up your boat. So I'm just gonna throw a few little drops in there and see. It's gonna make it probably that much
And I get
nicer.
the
You want some
dropper
too?
as well, yeah.
There you
Just
go.
because I
good
want to
sir.
try the this EH Taylor. I mean, neat. It was
Neat.
straight
Neat.
neats with drops. Neats without drops. With drops, what do we call that? I don't have a name for
I
that.
don't know if there is a name for that. There's rocks, you get
Yeah,
rocks.
like
Rocks is
rocks.
ice. Neat, neat and straight, I think are interchangeable, if I'm not mistaken.
What do we call once we add drops? We need a
Yeah,
name for that.
there's gotta be some.
Dropped.
Sweat.
Sweat. I get sweated, please. Good old bar request
There's
that.
gotta
See what
be-
they say to you.
There's got to be a name. for that.
Sweaty. I think my whiskey's sweaty. But I mean, it's. You can see why this was one with this one's probably not one that they did to generate demand. It probably well deservedly already had it.
All right, I googled it.
What's it called?
Cutting. So
Cutting.
it's cuts.
I like my whiskey cut.
So think of it like a splash. Adding water dilutes the squash, but results in more drink. The technical term for adding water to whiskey is cutting. One cuts a whiskey down to the desired alcohol strength and adding. So, well, I don't know. I feel like that's almost like what they do to make it the 100 proof.
Yeah.
But I guess in drinking terms, I guess that's how you're going to
theory behind putting the drops on when you're drinking is it kind of just opens everything up.
Cut. I'll just call it cut. Yeah, I might cut this a bit.
I'm going with sweaty.
This Elijah barrel proof, I'm going to go ahead and cut it. You can sweat it.
Try.
Don't sweat it.
I'm gonna
Cut
sweat my EH Taylor.
it. Oh man, cutting makes a difference. Yeah, I remember. So my brother, for his bachelor party, we went down and did the whole bourbon trail, and so we went to, I can't even tell you how many distilleries down in Kentucky and stuff. Uh, his buddy Bill is from that area, so he knew what was up, and we did it all, dude. And that's when I learned about how great of a difference it can be. Just a couple drops, even just like, I mean, I guess it was a couple drops because they were giving us just small samples.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you have a full pour, I'd say 7, 8, 9 drops, whatever. But it really opens it up and it changes. It makes it a whole different experience. It tends to be, depending on, more enjoyable.
That's a good point. I've never really considered the difference between the sample size and the full size because by that point I usually just drink it neat once I've done the the small taster with the
Well, yeah, because you only get a little
cut.
bit. You don't have you don't have enough to do it neat and cut it.
Yeah.
But with this, obviously, we're here, man. We got the bottles, so I did a nice pour. So I took a couple sips neat, and then cut it up. Time to cut it up.
I love a good whiskey show.
Yeah. Because I don't even know. I haven't looked at the time. We're probably going. Yeah, we're going long.
we
as
even on
hell.
air?
Dude, we're going long. Sorry, JT. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, we are gonna have to wrap this up because I guess we got to get these commercials in before the a little behind the scenes. It's a different day part, so these commercials need to play before
Got to keep the
7
lights on.
p.m. So yeah, I guess we probably should wrap this up. How are you liking the E.H. Taylor? It's not just this isn't even just regular E.H. Taylor. This is the single barrel. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little different than, there's variations.
It's absolutely delicious. We come back to kind of the same way I was feeling about the Dickles. I feel like it's such this is such a established flavor, an established distillery that's been doing it, and they're not going to do anything less than perfect from presentation to actually, enjoying the beverage. I'm not even gonna feel ashamed. It's a 5.
Yep. So
It's good if you sweat it. It's good if you don't.
I just noticed this because I do this a lot. How often do you? I know a lot of people, they tell you to do it when you're going to a tasting and you really want to try liquor. Do you ever just take a sip of straight whiskey and just sit it in your mouth for like a long period of time? Basically,
Yes.
that entire spiel you were doing, I just had a sip in my
You
mouth.
let it hang out in your mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, if it works for dip users, it's got to work for whiskey drinkers. Yes, I definitely do that.
And I don't know if I feel like I just naturally do that. I know that I've heard that that's a thing to do.
I only do it with whiskey though. Have you ever been in a situation where like people are mixing liquors?
I'm already shaking my head.
Accidentally did it with vodka. Never ever do I recommend you.
No.
Vodka needs to just be like in your body as fast as possible or mixed.
No. In fact, besides, no, it's only whiskey. It's only whiskey. Otherwise, I think because it is, you can come across nice vodka, come across nice rum or whatever the case may be, tequila. But I think those rules and etiquette, I think they are special to whiskeys because they are different.
I mean, it's the complexities and the flavor. I mean,
I'm sure you could apply it, but maybe I'm just not as well versed with
rum
those.
basically comes from like sugar cane and molasses. Like I don't want to hold that in my mouth necessarily. Like, I wouldn't hold maple syrup in my
And maybe
mouth.
that's what it is. It tastes like, sugar, whatever. You want to just get down, you want to something about that, and you feel like you're like, whoa. I think that's what it is. You take that first sip and you're like, man, what is this? And then you let it just sit in your mouth to kind of process it. And sometimes I'll sit with it in my mouth for like a long time. I mean, it can be here, start the clock. No, I'm just kidding. Because then it would just be a lot of dead air.
How long
But-
can DreZ hold this? Let's see what's going on.
No joke though. Like I'll take a sip and I'll sit with that in my mouth probably for easily 30 seconds, a minute. And then you take it down. And it's just, I don't know what it is. I just naturally do that.
I've never really considered it much, but it is something that I do with whiskey. I don't do it with beer. I've done it with wine. Wine's not as,
I guess,
but you
wine,
kind of
maybe,
get the same like. It's almost you're really pondering
Some
it,
of
really
the darker
considering it.
wines.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
So no, I definitely think there's some logic to that.
Well, I can tell you right now, this Elijah Craig barrel proof, if you can get your hands on it, which by the way, like I said, now the drop thing's done. Just go to here's what you need to do. I'll tell you this right now. You go to the liquor store and you make friends with the person that's behind the counter. That's how you know how and when to get this stuff. That's
just
how it is now. That's the way it should be, honestly.
good advice for any drinking scenario. Make friends with the person who controls the distribution of the alcohol.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's what you need to do because I think the drops are done. They're still doing the lotteries, which by the way, I mean, I almost feel like I should be advertising this because I'd rather have better odds to get my hands on it. But I think I've actually only won. I've won. I have gotten in on a lottery thing the very first time I ever even heard of it. I feel like it's more popular now, but this is going back to that my brother's bachelor party thing. After we did all that, we went to Kentucky and did all that. Bill sent out because we had an email thread with everybody that went, and Bill sent an email saying, "Hey, Virginia ABC is doing this lottery for these things. If y'all want to sign up, and if you don't want the bottle, let me know. If you sign up, great." And I did it, and I did get. I think actually I might have gotten 2 bottles, and they were not cheap. They were probably to this day the most expensive. One of the bottles was like $200. But I was like, well, I mean, I gotta taste what's so good.
gotta see
about
what $200
this. Yeah, I
tastes
gotta
like.
see why they're selling it for this. So, I don't know why I was going on with that.
You were
That's the
advertising for
purpose.
the lottery.
No, yeah, clearly, yeah. Look up, go to the ABC website. The other thing that's nice about the ABC website is across Virginia, all the stores, same price point. So You know what to pay. So if you're sending somebody down to the store to buy you something, you know how much it's going to cost. And you can see the inventory, the current inventory of the store. I don't know how current it really is, but in theory, you should know, hey, they have this, they have that. And that's how you can
I
tell.
believe ours still has curbside pickup as well.
Really? Thank
Which
you,
was
COVID.
useful during the pandemic,
Yeah,
but now that I
some-
can go in and browse the
You're that
aisles,
lazy, you can't even walk in. Bring me my liquor.
it's
I
like
want
10
that.
feet into the store.
It's my liquor and I want it now. All right, let's wrap it up before we cause any more troubles. Nate, thank you so much for joining me. I think next week, I don't know, I'll have to do an inventory of my bar to see if I have I have a couple other ones, but it might not be a full whiskey show. Maybe we'll switch it up. I don't know. I also went to the beer store and got some beers. So, I don't know what we're doing. We'll figure it
Jersey
out.
Turnpikes.
Yeah, there we go. That sounds good. Brewsday Tuesday next week. To be TBD. That's a wrap for me. See you.